W stream, are you guys enjoying the stream today? Whoa! Whoa!
See, as you can see, the more you around, the more you're going to find out.
In my previous video on lolcows, I mentioned the concept of the village idiot, dating back to the Middle Ages. Without our current knowledge of intellectual disabilities or mental illness, the village idiot became a near universal occurrence. There were town guards, blacksmiths, carpenters, bakers, and most of all, the guy whose job it was to molest the mules and moon the place of worship. If you think that engaging in intimate relations with livestock and spreading your cheeks for the priest is a nonsense job, keep in mind that the modern age has plenty of bullshit jobs. In 2018, the late anthropologist David Graeber released a book by the name of, well, bullshit jobs. In the book, he argued that a large portion of jobs today are meaningless and unproductive. They usually are there to provide a massive class of skillless suburban and suburban idiots an opportunity to make a living wage, even though they aren't providing anything of value to the wider community, or anything of value to their own sense of purpose, or lack of purpose. The book is highly controversial and deserves an entire video on its own, but it does a good job of illustrating the fact that the amount of money you make is not necessarily tied to the amount of value you produce. A garbage man makes a modest income for picking up bags of trash. Far less money than the proverbial bags of trash I'm going to cover in this video. In the Soviet Union, there was the concept of the social parasite. Someone who didn't work or barely worked, or worked a useless, stupid job on stupid projects, which could probably accurately describe most members of the Soviet Union's Communist Party. No surprise, the label social parasite was usually applied to human rights activists, whistleblowers, and dissidents who didn't want to enjoy the life of luxury in a Siberian gulag. In countries with the Protestant work ethic, which sanctified productivity and diligence, the concept of the waste of space would emerge. A waste of space is someone who takes up space and consumes resources without contributing much of anything, just coasting off of other people's work. But at least wastes of space don't directly or purposely hurt anyone. For that, we have the term public menace. A public menace is usually an unintelligent career criminal whose primary contribution to society is stealing bottles of gin from the liquor store and getting into fistfights with the security guards at the dollar store after he gets caught shoplifting bars of soap. No, just kidding, these types of people don't use soap. The only hygiene product they buy is the mouthwash to make use of the high alcohol content. And let's keep it real, they don't buy it, they just shoplift the mouthwash. While these types of societal tapeworms could survive in the past, the rise of mass media would help a small number of these humanoid nematodes to acquire vast amounts of fortune and fame. Socialites are people, usually women from wealthy backgrounds, who coast off of the family name and daddy's money. Notable examples of this include the famous Kim Kardashian and the formerly famous Paris Hilton, who got to attend fancy dinner parties and become household names without any contributions to humanity, outside of grainy 144 pp sex tapes. The phrase famous for being famous emerged in the 2000s to describe this phenomenon, usually in the context of old media, just as new online media was taking off. The 2000s were also the age of reality TV, with shows like The Jersey Shore, which catapulted now ex-celebrities into fame, such as Snooki. Snooki's main claim to fame was taking nudes, which give you an idea of what an Oompa Loompa Charlie and the Chocolate Factory corn parody would look like. With the rise of social media, we would see this trend of famous for being famous taken to a whole new level. Many people under the age of 30 may have never heard of the website MySpace. During the early to mid 2000s, MySpace was the space to be, at least online. The most friended person on MySpace was Tila Tequila, who was so big on the website that she got her own TV shows and record deals. But her fame would fade, as it's difficult to stay famous when your music sounds like this. Today, on the incredibly rare occasion anyone thinks about Tila's existence, it is usually about her flat earth views, Asian white supremacy, corn tapes, which to be fair had better production value than Paris Hilton's, as well as trying to baptize children in the name of Jesus.
Ma'am, so I wanted to baptize these children for God's kingdom, and they said yes, but the grandma came over here and told them they cannot be baptized. I have the water ready and everything, and they're really sweet children of God, so I just want to make this testimony.
MySpace would fade off into oblivion, into the oblivion of internet history, just as Tila Tequila did. But new websites were emerging, which were creating their own new e-celebrities, who were high on social media followers, but low on IQ points. YouTube would blow up alongside Instagram, Twitch, Kick, and many more. This would create a digital economy of cyber leeches using the medium of the internet for clout without providing the quality of content that one would expect in order to produce ad revenue and notoriety. Early examples include the YouTube pranksters of the mid-2010s. Their contribution to civilization was primarily farting on black people in public.
Excuse me? Do you mind if I fart on you real quick? Huh? Like fart. What? Like fart on you, like.
What else? What other reason?
You don't mind this?
I'm saying though. Let me.
Well, that's not fair. They did make other contributions, like getting punched in the face after they farted in black people's faces. Another prominent figure was Sam Pepper. Now, I won't dwell on him, as you could probably already tell everything you need to know about him just by looking at him. But don't stare directly at his face, as it can cause damage to your retinas. Ophthalmologists recommend only looking at a picture of Sam Pepper with solar viewers. One of his most infamous pranks involved groping women through his hoodie.
I'm Sam Pepper. Today I'm going to be pinching girls' bums with my secret
No, but he thinks this is funny, but not everyone is laughing about a YouTube star's latest prank. Some, in fact, are calling it sexual assault.
Sam Pepper is no longer particularly relevant today. Today, quite possibly the most infamous prankster from this heyday who has retained some level of notoriety, although be it for the wrong reasons, is Vitaly. He would come to prominence through the power of hiring women to take pictures with their fat asses hanging out on YouTube thumbnails. This prompted hordes of teenage boys who have never gotten IRL contact with a woman's posterior, and they in return would click on these thumbnails, making Vitaly an internet sensation overnight. Most of these videos were called gold digger pranks, which usually involved hiring paid actresses.
What's up, cutie?
Hey,
What's going on?
not too much.
Hey, I was looking at you and I thought you were really pretty and I wanted to get your number. Is that too much to ask for, or
You know,
let's go out to dinner?
I usually go out to dinner with people
Oh yeah, who you go to dinner? By yourself?
sometimes.
Oh wow. It's I don't usually ask twice, but you sure you don't want to go out with me?
Your car?
Yeah, that's my car. Why?
Well, I might be able to go out to dinner with you.
You might.
Bar down the street if you want to go.
There's what?
There's a bar down the street.
Oh, now you want to. Too bad. I don't like gold diggers.
She didn't get owned in the clip as she got a paycheck. Granted, not as big of a paycheck as the ad revenue Vitaly got. However, Vitaly would have a falling out after he assaulted a jogger while high on shrooms. When I get high on shrooms, I don't get charged with battery, I just talk to the universe and or the fish in my aquarium. Vitaly would later reemerge as an internet parasite on the streaming platform Kick. Kick is like Twitch, but simultaneously more and less parasitic. More parasitic because it has more lax terms of service, which provide a microbiome for online pathogens, but less parasitic for being less moralistic and pretentious and just being honest about being a platform for being scumbags. The one redeeming quality about Kick is that Hassan Piker doesn't make it his habitat. Vitaly would reemerge by being an international nuisance streamer, as the contagion became intercontinental. The most famous example of this was his trip to the Philippines. Now I know I'm getting stereotypical here, but I personally have never met a mean Filipino during my entire life. Getting a Filipino to display negative emotions is a feat in and of itself. As a result of this, he spent 10 months in prison. When he was released, many were hoping that he would return to his birth country of Russia to be sent on the front lines by Putin. His story would end in a poetic manner, being turned into human sausage by Ukrainian artillery fire. Or so we hoped. Alas, the universe we live in is not so justly poetic. He would return to the United States, joining the predator poaching fad, or rejoining it to be more accurate, in which YouTubers would mimic Chris Hansen's old media show, To Catch a Predator. While most of these pred catchers abided by the rule of law and cooperated with the police, Vitaly would usually abscond all of this, to instead enjoy tormenting and perhaps torturing alleged perpetrators, shaving off the eyebrows of alleged predators, and threatening them with alligator attacks. Okay, as much as I hate Vitaly, bringing in an alligator is pretty based. What is not based was accusing an innocent man of predatory behavior for trying to hook up with an adult. This is an example of what some would call the morality paradox. Oftentimes, disgusting people will engage in hyper-moralizing behavior to excuse their own unethical acts. Other streamers didn't bother moralizing at all. Sometimes their parasitic behavior was online.
Where is Frashisa's piece?
Just say it's a physical copy.
It's a physical copy.
Okay, so you'll be reading and we won't be reading along?
Yes, ma'am, if that's fine with you.
Okay, just take your time to read.
Sorry, I get a little nervous. I apologize.
No worries, just take your time.
Is everyone ready? Can I continue, Michelle?
Yes, you may.
Okay. Brown and slick, sucks us dry just like a tick. Crossed the border without a cent, now goes by his food and rent. Will learn to read, yet has the balls to scrawl graffiti on our walls. Praise to God, both day and night, but still seals everything in sight. His wife, so squat and dear, will spit out babies twice a year. Upon her, a duty hangs to swell the ranks of local gangs. A trashy, save what you can from this beat-eating culture.
What?
You like that, Ryan?
Okay.
Is this written by you?
Way too fast for me.
Yeah, can you read it again, Ranch?
Oh, wait, actually, I don't want to have you read that again. This is too hateful, and I'd rather not.
Oh my God!
Read that again.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, was that written by you, pal?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a bit blown back by that. I feel like a lot of folks in here are.
Brian liked it. Brian, help me out, Brian.
I didn't say that. I didn't.
What about Kathy? I heard Kathy saying something.
I'm left speechless.
Kathy, you know it's just a poem. It's not serious.
I'm dumbfounded.
I think across any culture, some of those words are extremely inflammatory. I truly never expected anything like that.
How old are you, Ranch?
I'm only 20 years old.
Yeah, it just feels to me like you're trying to be shocking and inflammatory. Yeah.
Alright, I'm sorry.
It's okay. You know, sometimes people, you know, I know you're young.
Yeah, I thought everyone in this call was gonna be laughing, but everyone just looked at me weird.
Yeah, it's not really funny just to call people names.
I apologize. Are you Mexican yourself?
I am not.
Dude, Brian is devastated.
You took it so far to the racist kind of point of
I
view.
think you guys are dragging it. That is how normal kids talk nowadays, though. That's not an insane thing.
Listen. Don't argue when you're getting feedback. You listen to the feedback and you say thank you. You can agree with it or disagree with it as you like. If you guys are here to cause trouble, I'm going to kick you both out right now.
I'm not here to cause trouble. I just want to understand what the point she's trying to make.
Okay.
Is Brian okay?
Don't worry about it.
I'm fine.
Hi, I had a question. It's cutting out a little bit for me.
The other problem I'm having is you can't make any comments on this file.
Shut your old ass up, you f***ing Yo, Kathy, suck my
And sometimes it was in person.
Oh my god. Oh, pussy, pussy, pussy! What the? Pussy! What do you got? No, 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 pussy! What the pussy!
Don't make any move or get kicked out. Don't make a move or get kicked out. Neon, do you feel my heartbeat right now? I gave you chance after chance after chance. I even said I don't want to fuck up your content. Pay me my money and I'll leave. But you to do this fuck shit now? First of all, how many days are you here for? 3? No, pussy. These are mine until I get my money.
One of the most well-known examples of this is Jack Doherty. Many people claim that Mr. Doherty has Down syndrome based off of his square-shaped face. But this is impossible since people with Down syndrome are usually tied with Filipinos as the most chill people to be around. If I get a kid with a disability, I hope he or she has Down syndrome. Jack Doherty, on the other hand, has a personality not of a person with Down syndrome, but the personality of a roundworm, shat out by a recently weaned puppy. On Twitch, we would see the brief rise and brief fall of Nina Lynn as well.
For those who really give a f, this is for y'all. What does that say? 2 butters, 2 beefs. Right after the butters. 2 butters, 2 beefs. What can I say?
Her accomplishments include trying to speak Ebonics, along with the alleged performed SA and stealing of shoes from Target.
Oh my gosh, dude, this shit, GG's. It's GG's, bro. It might really be GG's, gang. This right here is crazy, dude. $230. $30.
To be fair, she would not go as low as to steal from Walmart. That honor goes to Daisy Dukes TV. Most of her most prominent videos take place in big box stores, where she smashed TV sets and works on innocent old grandpas. To be fair, she has now ended her budding career as a professional internet parasite useless person, as she is now a mother. Instances like this woman spreading her genes to the next generation make me more sympathetic for early 20th century eugenicists. Last on the list, and certainly the least, is the legend of Ramzi Khalid Ismail, otherwise known as Johnny Somali. The origin story of this deer tick masquerading as a human being is sparse and shrouded in legend. He has made several claims of being a child soldier and/or a Somali pirate, but most evidence points to him growing up in the boring Phoenix suburb of Scottsdale, Arizona. Now, don't get me wrong, I do not wish living in Arizona upon my worst enemy. But for all of Arizona's faults, I'm assuming that it is a tad bit better than growing up in Somalia. At least the tap water in Arizona doesn't give you a protozoal infection that makes you piss pus. Speaking of pus and piss, let's get back to Johnny Somali, who is immune from such an infection as he is a single-celled organism which excretes the very pus and piss Somali tap water would result in the first place. He would go on a world tour, not to sold-out concerts or book signing deals, but rather to grunt out words in public transit, post images of Epstein on Jewish religious sites, rub his ass on the statues to commemorate Comfort Woman, and mark his territory with ramen noodles.
You should never have pitched. Your father was right. Your father was right.
For his crimes of being a globe-trotting cockroach, he was rewarded with the medal of spending 6 months in South Korean prison with forced labor. This would be the first time in Johnny Somali's life in which he would get a real job. In the book 48 Laws of Power, the author Robert Greene claims that attention at all costs is paramount to the maintenance of staying power. And it just so happens to be that attention is the currency of social media. Attention is fuel for the algorithm, Without the power to get attention, you don't get the clicks, and without the clicks, you don't get the clout or the ad revenue. Two key aspects of the attention and any cost rule are quote-unquote sensationalism and quote-unquote standing out from the crowd. This works remarkably well in the short run, and it just so happens to be that the streamer Parasites master these two tricks. However, the other two sub-rules of attention at any cost are avoiding mediocrity and mystique. Streamers stream nearly every aspect of their lives, and they're not particularly cryptic about their personal lives either. This destroys the element of mystery or mystique that so many celebrities before social media had. On top of that, many of these influencers don't exactly avoid mediocrity either. In fact, they plunge into the pool of mediocrity. The early stages of growing a channel on YouTube and Twitch are designed for those who promote empty sensationalism rather than high-quality content needed to lead to long-lasting growth.
Green socks? What are you, crazy? That just ruins the whole fun of this. That just straight up ruins the whole fun of this. Oh, there we go! Yes! Yeah, I need a light specifically for my feet, you're so right. Or I could, yeah, I think I'll just have to move back a little bit. Bingo! Bingo! Oh, now there she is!
Granted, there is a counterintuitive value of nuisance streaming. A counterintuitive value of wastes of space. Lowbrow, guilty pleasure entertainment helps us feel better about ourselves. A subpar taco from Taco Bell doesn't have the same amount of value as lobster tail, and it will probably give you diarrhea. But the fact that people still buy these mediocre tortilla wrap laxatives is proof that they still have value in the eyes and mouths of a considerable number of people with poor taste. Same goes for this sort of content. Earlier on this video, I mentioned social parasitism in the Soviet Union. One mistake which Marxist economists made back then was a falsehood of labor theory of value. The idea that value of a good or service is determined by the total amount of socially necessary labor. No need to read Das Kapital. The fact that Jack Doherty and Neon are rich despite not producing any necessary value is a refutation in and of itself. We can judge all of this. We can judge the nuisance streamers all we want. We can pronounce our moral condemnations, yet we still pay attention. Their goal of providing entertainment worked. Perhaps the culprit is not them, but our own psychology. But with that being said, I'm still gonna not stop making fun of them. Thanks for watching.
Oh yeah, I've been looking. This yours? Yeah, this is mine. Oh.